Hello my loves, how you doing? If you're new here, karibu sana. I go by the name Vivian Odhiambo, aka Fashion Guru Kenya, aka mtoto wa Homa Bay County. So today we're going to make Sukuma wiki, aka kales, easy, quick recipe. The ingredients are onion. We're going to have salt and Royco cube. Then I'm going to use a little bit of garlic. Garlic is really good when it comes to Sukuma wiki. If you haven't tried it, you should totally try it. Let's go on. In a sufuria, we're going to put in our cut onions and oil. Let that simmer for a little bit before we add in our garlic, and then we let them simmer until they're almost golden brown. After they're golden brown, add in your tomato if you use tomato in your Sukuma wiki. If you don't, let's move on. We're just going to add in our Sukuma wiki or kales. Let me tell you, if your Sukuma wiki is dry, add a little bit of water. I did not say a river, I said add a little bit of water to help it simmer and cook under very low heat. We don't want our Sukuma wiki to burn. So now we're going to add in our Royco cube and a little bit of salt. Remember, Royco cube has salt, so don't put too much salt because you're going to overdo it. So now we're going to stir this or koroga it very nicely, and we're not going to cover it. The reason why I'm not covering it, we want our Sukuma wiki to remain green. So we're going to continue to stir it like that. After every 2 minutes, you look at it and stir it until you taste it and feel that it is done. Our Sukuma wiki is now done and ready to be served. Then I'm going to show you a simple recipe to make githeri. It's simple, it's delicious. Nothing like githeri na nyonga. Ni githeri unaweza avocado vizuri. Okay, so the ingredients are black pepper, cumin, Royco cubes, and of course the githeri. So in a sufuria, we're going to put in our onions. Then we're going to put in our cooking oil. We're going to let them cook the onions until they are golden brown. Okay. So the onions are golden brown. We're going to add our githeri, as you can see I'm doing. All in a kasuku like me, as you can see, I'm going to add cumin. I use my eyes to measure, so that is about a half a teaspoon of cumin. Then you're going to add black pepper as much as you want, according to your tolerance when it comes to pili or pepper. So this one that I'm adding is about also half a teaspoon of black pepper. You can see there's water inside. I'm also going to add the 2 Royco cubes. And remember, if you're adding Royco cubes, first taste your food because Royco cube tend to be salty. Your food might be too salty. So I'm going to start this and then I'm going to add it to my githeri and add more water to my githeri so that they can boil together. You have to give your ingredients time to simmer, boil so that they don't taste funny in your food. You can see I poured that inside and there's some remaining, so I'm going to add water to that bowl and pour it in the githeri. I'm going to put enough water that is going to make the githeri simmer, the ingredients cook well. Black particles that you're seeing, those are black pepper. Here we go, our githeri is done. Look at how delicious it looks. I'm now going to serve it, and as you saw earlier in the video, I put a pili or a pepper on top like that so that it can look colorful, okay, so that I can have a good thumbnail. So we're going to serve this. I'm just going to show you how it's going to look. It was really delicious, and I hope when I talked about the Royco cubes, you did not forget to add salt in your food. You have to add salt in your food, salt to taste, salt according to your preference, okay. to make spinach. I'm just going to show you how to make your spinach remain green and delicious. Okay, without any further ado, in a sufuria, we're going to put in our onions and our vegetable cooking oil, let them simmer for a bit, and then we're going to add our garlic. Okay. As the onions are simmering, we're going to go ahead and peel our potato and cut it. Just prepare it for the onions. And by the way, if you've never had spinach that was cooked with garlic, you're missing out. That thing tastes so damn delicious. You should totally try it. So as you can see, I'm putting my tomatoes. I'm going to cut them, and then we're going to put them in our spinach. Okay. Tomatoes, or nyanya as we call them in Kenya, have disappeared. I don't know where they are, so they are not as ripe as they normally are. So let's go back to our onions. As you can see, they are doing okay. They are browning. So if you don't like tomatoes in your spinach, this is the part where you add your spinach. If you like tomatoes in your spinach, of course, this is the part where you add your tomatoes. Okay. Going to cover that, let it simmer until the tomatoes are soft and mashed. Okay. Now our tomatoes are okay. Now we are going to add in our spinach. I'm going to add in a tiny bit of water in my spinach, and then I'm not going to cover it. I'm going to let it simmer like that. The reason why I'm adding a tiny bit of water in my spinach is so that it doesn't stay, and I'm going to cook it under low heat so that it doesn't burn. Okay, because normally when you cover your spinach, that is where the steam comes from. But now that because you're not covering it, you're just going to add a little bit of water, leave it open like that, let it simmer for a bit, then turn it. Okay. Now we have turned our spinach. You need to taste it and see, do you like your spinach rare, very well cooked, or medium? How do you like your spinach? Me, I like my spinach very well cooked, so I'm going to let it simmer for a bit. 6 minutes later, the spinach is cooked and ready to be served. So I'm going to be serving this with eggs and ugali. For the eggs, I'm going to cut one onion, and then in a pan I'm going to put in the onions and cooking oil. After the brown, I'm going to go ahead and add in my tomatoes. We are making 3 eggs. Okay. I'm just going to cover that, let the tomatoes simmer, and then we are going to add in our eggs. I'm going to go ahead and break the 3 eggs in the bowl, and then I'm going to add salt in the eggs before I beat them, and then add them to the simmered tomatoes and onions. Now that the eggs are in, I'm just going to stir them a little bit because I'm cooking them in a pan and I don't want them to end up being round, like one round egg. I want them to break into pieces, so I'm just going to do this before I cover it and let it simmer for a few minutes until it's done. Our eggs are now ready to be served. They are just delicious. I love my eggs made like this if I'm going to have them with ugali. Thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on that notification bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Bye bye. We're going to cook a mixture of rice and potatoes. We're going to add in carrots too. So ingredients are rice, potato, grated carrots, Rico cube, and an onion. Oh, and a tomato. Just one tomato. So we're going to put in some oil and onions. Remember, you're putting enough oil for both the potatoes and the rice. When the onions are golden brown, you're going to add in some potatoes and let them simmer for a little bit. I'm going to add in my potatoes. This is how I do it. People do it in so many different ways, but this is my way. I'm going to add in the potatoes, add in some salt, and then again I'm going to add in my Rico cube, or not. It's totally optional. I gave my potatoes 10 minutes to simmer before I add the carrots. Then finally I add the rice. is I'm going to add my 1 cup of rice, and because I added 1 cup of rice, I'm going to use the same cup and put in 2 cups of the same water. I'm going to put in 2 cups and a little bit because I don't like my warus and rice mixture to be too dry. I like them to be at least a little bit wet. I'm going to let it cook, and then when it's almost dry, we are going to put it under low heat and then cover it so that it can simmer under low heat.